Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of the match preview. Guys, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing fine, guys. It's Manchester City versus Manchester United in the derby, guys. One of the biggest games of the calendar. It's the one game, isn't it, that we look for when the fixtures are announced. It's the one game that we look for, the game that we're like, when we're going to play City, and we're playing them at the Etihad, guys. And to be honest with you, in a season that was full of so much negativity last season, I think that, you know what, that game against City last season was let's be honest, the highlight of what was a very, very low season. We had some funny results last season. Obviously, beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, beat City as well away from home. But, you know, this game, it does represent what Man United are. And I do believe that Man United seem to raise their game against these teams, and they have done over the years. They have raised their game against the likes of City, you know, and I want Man United to be consistent. And hopefully Man United can be consistent, and hopefully Man United can start by winning this game and then go on to beat Chelsea, which will be a huge statement. Of course it will be. But it's no point going and beating Man City and beating Chelsea if we're basically gonna lose to Brentford or lose to Brighton, for example. Guys, absolutely. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, guys. I'm sorry if I'm lagging a little bit. I think I'm lagging a little bit. The guys, I'll sort that out. No problem at all. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Absolutely. Stream lagging. Yeah, stream is lagging, guys. Absolutely. Stream is lagging a little bit. I think it's a little bit better now. Absolutely. I think it's a little bit better now. But yeah, look, guys, look. When we're looking at the injury situation of Man United, obviously Ruben Amorim has had his press conference, of course. Look, Bayindir will be starting for Manchester United. A lot of us wanted Sal Warner to start. Unfortunately, he won't be starting, guys. And that's the way it is. Unfortunately, it will be Bayindir starting. Look, I don't agree with this. I think Sal Warner should be starting the game because, you know, I know it's Man City, but there are loads of hard games in this season, guys. It's not just the City game. The game against Brentford might be difficult. The game against Brighton might be difficult. You know, and I just don't believe in holding things back. I think so. But it is what it is. We're going to support the team that plays, and this is how we're going to do things, guys. And Sal Warner's time will obviously come. Of course, it will come. But I don't want something to happen where, you know, Bayindir has a good game and then he's not removed from the starting lineup, and then Sal Warner is subjected to the bench for a long time, of course, guys. So that hopefully that doesn't happen. In regards to the injury news, of course, we've got Mount, Cunha and Dalot out, guys. So 3 players are out. Some may say first team players are out for this game. It's going to be a very, very interesting game, to be honest with you, in regards to the lineup. What's he going to pick? What lineup is he going to pick? And this is my lineup I picked, of course, guys. On my side is my lineup that I would choose, that I believe is a predicted. It's not what I would choose. A predicted lineup could quite possibly be, guys. Let me know what you think about the lineup. Give me your suggestions. Let me know what you think. Absolutely, guys. And I would say that, you know, this is there or thereabouts. But you know what I would say is that, yeah, 1 or 2 players might be different. I mean, I'm dreaming a little bit when I'm looking at Bruno as the number 10. Maybe I'm dreaming a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too positively, but, you know, Bruno might still remain in the number 8 position, and Ahmad might move to the attacking midfielder, or indeed Xerxes might move into attacking midfielder. But when I'm looking at the fact that Dalot is injured, it does look like there may be Ahmad there, or there's going to have to be a risk in regards to Mazraoui. Obviously, Mazraoui is not match fit. He's fit, but not entirely match fit. So not in regards to he hasn't played any Premier League football for a while. So that's going to be an interesting decision for Ruben Amorim to do. And look, whatever Ruben Amorim does, I support 100%, and I'm not going to be moaning and groaning because we do know, obviously, the problems and the injury problems that we have. What this does represent, it does represent a chance to bring Sesko into the team. And you know what, which needs to happen. We need to integrate him into the team quickly because we need to sort of get the camaraderie, get the chemistry working with these guys. And especially in that front line, we need to get the chemistry working with them players, guys, in my humblest of opinion. Guys, but what I would say, Man City, Man United. What are my earliest memories of Man City, Man United? I mean, I remember watching Man United win 5-0 at Old Trafford back in the 90s. I remember that. I've had bad experiences in regards to Man United against Man City, obviously losing the 6-1, losing 6-3 on it a couple of years ago. But we've had great results against Man City. I remember us coming back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 at the old Main Road. I remember that. That was a fantastic result. I remember Man United winning 2-1 with a Wayne Rooney stunner. You know, one of the greatest Premier League goals of all time. You know, I remember winning 1-0 at Main Road with Ryan Giggs in the top corner. You know, there's a lot of games that I can remember, and I can talk you through about the derbies, guys. In my personal experiences, I remember us losing 5-0 at Main Road. I remember that, you know, guys, those who don't remember, you know. So, look, you know, it's a big game and it's a historical game, of course. And it's a game that I would love to win. We've got a lot of smug Man City fans. We got a lot of smug Man City fans. And a lot of these Man City fans don't really have an idea what history is and things like that, if you know what I mean. They don't really understand their history and the legacy of Manchester United. And hopefully we shut them up for a little while at least on Sunday, of course, guys. But guys, hope you're doing well. Don't forget to smash a like, guys, whilst you're in here. Please don't forget to smash a like. Don't forget to put your notifications on and subscribe to the channel. All that lovely, sweet stuff, of course, guys. Really appreciate you guys, absolutely. But that's my lineup. Look, it may not be that. It may not be that. That's what I think will happen. Obviously, I would have put Lamens in goal, but I heard today that Lamens won't play. So obviously, I'm going to put Bayindir in goal, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me just say good afternoon to everyone, of course, guys. The legends in the house. I hope you're doing well. Of course, good afternoon, Grayo. How you doing, you legend? Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing good. Good to see you. Good afternoon, Kazi. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you again, of course, brother. Sal, afternoon, but I hope you're well. What is your opinion of Bayindir start? Is it Lamens ready yet? I think he's ready, Grayo. My biggest concern about Ruben Amorim, and I said it a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, in regards to being a little bit too cautious in regards to sending Lamens. Now, I said Lamens is ready. He's a better goalkeeper. They're not playing sending Lamens. It's probably because, you know, he doesn't feel he's ready. He hasn't had a game for Man United yet, and maybe he wants to bed him in there a little bit. You know, give him an easier game. But as I said earlier, I don't think there's any easy games in the Premier League. So I think you should just be put in the team. Just be put in the team, thrown in the deep end, so to speak. Of course, guys, that's what I would say. You know, I'm disappointed, but, you know, I'm sure that Bayindir will be all right on the weekend. I'm a bit worried about Bayindir's corners. I'm a bit worried about corners. Man City do hit a good corner, so I'm a little bit worried about that. And if Bayindir makes a mistake, we're going to be looking at this and we're going to be blaming Ruben Amorim. We're going to be saying, you know what, Ruben, why didn't you pick Lamens? Blah, 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 you know. I just feel like he who dares wins, Grail. You know, he who dares wins. And I think that you have to really take risks in football, even if it is playing a few youngsters. Imagine this, right? Imagine Alex Ferguson brought through, you know, the class of 92, right? Imagine the big risks he took removing Andre Kanchelskis, removing Mark Hughes and Paul Ince. Imagine the risks he took, you know, to do that. Imagine the confidence to have in those players. And we're just worried about playing a goalkeeper, you know. It just seems a bit crazy for me as well, guys. Absolutely. Big up RJ. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good, of course. Yeah, as usual, Chatterbox is lagging a little bit. Guys, sorry about that, of course. Sesko, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sesko lover, what's going on? I'm not happy at all. I have been waiting for Lamens. What kind of manager is Amorim? He treats the players like his kids. We will miss Cunha from injuries. We have to trust the manager, mate. We have to trust the manager. We have to trust what he believes is. The most important thing for us, Sesko lover, is winning that game. I firmly believe Sesko needs to start. I'll be very upset if Sesko doesn't start. The most important thing for Man United on Sunday is winning this game, is getting this game won. That is it for me. Sending Lamens will get his opportunity. He will get his opportunity. He will get his chance. And I'm sure when he does get his chance, he will thrive. He will thrive. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sesko lover. I love the lineup. Thank you so much, mate. Mainu is starting and he will score. I believe Mainu should start. I believe that is the most balanced midfield for me, the Ugarte and Mainu collaboration. I think that is the best thing for Man United to do. I think if Man United really want to control this game, given that Mason Mount is not playing, I think that Ugarte and Mainu should be playing in this game. I really do think that. I think there's no brainer there. Move Bruno into the number 10 and play alongside Mbeumo. And I think that will be an absolutely dangerous attacking lineup. I really do think that. Whether he does that or not, it remains to be seen. Obviously, there's a little thing there with Mainu, isn't there? We feel, so sadly. Ephraim, Sal, what is your thoughts on United giving a new contract to Lisandro Martinez? It's a risk. I love Lisandro Martinez. I like Lisandro Martinez a lot. But I do think that this is a risk. I think giving him a new contract is a risk. He's injury prone. I want to see Licha Martinez have a consistent run of games. I want him to be like in the side for a few months, without any injury, serious injury. And it's a big risk. I don't know why we're doing that. I mean, maybe is this a sentimental thing? Is this sentimental? Because, look, maybe he's going to be fit. Maybe the saving grace for Lisandro Martinez is that, his injuries are not like tears and pulls, and they're a bit like knocks and things like that. So what I would say is that that's a saving grace in regards to that. But what I would also say is that the way that Licha Martinez plays, is bound to get injured again. And Man United can't have injury-prone players on a lot of wages. I just think we need to be ruthless. It's as simple as that. And as much as I love Licha Martinez, guys, don't get me wrong, he's my favorite signing in the last 10 years. As much as I love Licha Martinez, I just feel like we can't be relying on these players anymore, guys. We really can't, in my opinion. Lamens will start on Sunday. We're not starting Sunday. Yes, APN. Yeah, we know. I think we saw the press conference, of course. So what is your prediction? 2-1 to Man United still. I haven't changed my stance in regards to that. Sesko should start against City. He should do. APN, I agree. Absolutely. We should be winning 2-1. Absolutely. Big up Sesko lover, by the way. Big up Ellen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you again. Of course. Big up Retro77. What's going on, mate? Hope you're doing well. It's, to be fair, the Liverpool games that we look for first, and then Arsenal, then City. Yeah, of course, I know that, mate. But I did say one of the games. I didn't say the game. I did say one of the games, which basically means a number of games. Retro7, just so you know. All right. And one of the games means one of the games. Do you know what I mean? Just to clear this. This isn't an English lesson, but just clearing it out for you, brother. Absolutely. I've been around Man United 45 years. I should know that, mate. Sal, your Lion spot. Big up. Thank you so much, Ephraim. Thank you, mate. I'm saying 2-2, says Arjun. Big up. Big up, my friend Kamali. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Am I still lagging? Let me know if I'm still lagging. Hopefully, I'm not too much. I need to get a new PC, guys. Absolutely. Guys, let me know if I'm still lagging, of course, guys. Let me know if I'm still lagging. Let me know if it's okay, guys, please. Guys, thank you very much. Big up, Marky Mark. How you doing, you legend? How you doing, my friend? Best community. How you, my friend? Trust the process, and everyone will back Amram. Keep up the great work, my friend. Thank you so much, Marky Mark. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you. I hope so. Good. I mean, look, I believe in Ruben Amram, of course. Now, let me just get through some comments from Ruben Amram over this last press conference, of course. Guys, absolutely. Let me just get through some of these if it comes up. Of course. If I can get it up. Well, if I let me just refresh that. I'll get it up in a minute. Good afternoon, Tybog. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my brother. I hope you're good. Of course. Let's get into some of these comments, guys, in regards to Ruben Amram, of course. Let me just read this 1 second. Let me just read this comment. Big up. If I can't get it up, big up. Big up, my friend. Big up. I'm gonna get it up. Computer is completely lagging. I need a new laptop, guys. I need a new laptop. I need something completely new. Now, Ruben Aram said on Bayindir starting versus Man City, it's the same thing I do with different positions, but Alti is going to continue. It is a different league, different country, different training, different ball. So they will fight for the position. That is what Ruben Amram said about Seny Lamens and Bayindir, of course. He went on to say about Lamens, he says, sometimes you as a club, you try to see different options, one or the other. We have an option that can give us different things in the moment, but also a great potential to be a goalkeeper for a number of years. So this is basically solidifying the stance that Seny Lamens will be a Man United goalkeeper for many, many years to come, as we hope, of course, guys. He went on to say about Man City, I think we are a better team. Very bold statement, that one. If you see any aspects of the data, we are a better team. We are ready to play the game, but we need to show it on Sunday. Not Monday, Sunday. Of course, that was a typing error. Absolutely. Hopefully it's not on Monday. He went on to say about Cunha and Mount and Dalot. They are out for this game. I don't know how long it's going to take. We need these guys to be competitive team. We have very good players who are eager to play, so we will be competitive on Sunday, but they are out. Just a couple of quotes there from a very cliche, I would say, basically press conference. It was a very cliche press conference, to be fair. It wasn't a magnificent press conference, but yeah, some things in there. Guys, let me know if I'm lagging. Let me know if I'm okay now, guys. Just let me know, please. And I could sort that out, of course, guys. Sorry about that. RJ, I hope a billionaire can turn Atletico Madrid into Man City. That league needs a shift. In regards to the La Liga, the La Liga is a bit like a glorified Scottish league, isn't it? To be honest with you, it's always Real Madrid and Barcelona. Possibility for a Casemiro Manu pivot, maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I would like to see Ugarte and Manu. I've seen them play a couple of times together, and I think they do pretty well together, in my opinion. Absolutely. That's what she said. Dun. Absolutely. Big up. Acuna better not become injury prone. I mean, I think he'd be all right. It's only one injury, guys. I think he's going to be all right, to be honest. I think Cunha's going to be all right, guys. Absolutely. It was a very dull press conference, to be honest, Darren. It was all right. It was a little bit nothing. Wow, you know. The only disappointing thing was obviously the Seny Lamens thing that we're not going to see Seny Lamens on Sunday, unfortunately, guys. Sadly, but it is what it is, of course, guys. It is what it is at the end of the day. Guys. But we will see Seny Lamens sooner or later. We will see him sooner or later, of course. But big up everyone who's joining me. Big up Kenny, by the way, as well, of course, as well, guys. Big up all the members as well, guys. La Liga is so bloody boring. Watch it switch against Sheffield United like Kazi is as well, guys. Absolutely. That's what I would do. I would do that as well. Probably more exciting than the La Liga games, of course, guys. The La Liga is but boring. It is boring. Nothing beats the Premier League, guys. Absolutely. Pep said only 3 players out. Yeah, only 3 players out. He's got Mamouche, obviously, Cherki out. Big players for them. They're out, of course. They've got more or less the same, their full team. But it doesn't really matter. We shouldn't have to worry about them. We don't worry about them. At the end of the day, they are what they are. They're going to give us a hard game, and we need to be ready for it. And that's it. That's Premier League football. We have to be ready for it. We have to be ready for whatever they throw at us. And they have to be ready for whatever we throw at them as well. I think Man United, I've got an air of confidence about Man United. I really do. I've got an air of confidence about the way we're doing things at the moment, I think. And this game, as I said earlier in Breaking Dawn, I think that this game is the first time I've been, I would say, this enthusiastic about a Man City derby since the 90s, in my opinion. Since the 90s, you know what I mean? Grayo, please, everyone, can you smash the like and subscribe buttons and show your appreciation Sal on the brilliant channel? La Liga's boring, mate. Compared to the Premier League, it's bloody boring. It's Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's bloody boring. It's like a league of Pep Guardiola's. Sal, do you think any watch along tomorrow? I'm going to have to wait and see. I'll wait and see. I'm doing the Man United, obviously. I'm doing the Man United game. I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm not really attracted by any of the games tomorrow, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think there's any games there that I look at that I think, wow. I think there's a game on late, of course, guys. I'm not sure which game it is. Let me have a look. I think it is on Saturday. So I think that game is against Brentford against Chelsea is an interesting one. West Ham against Tottenham is an interesting one. Of course, guys, Arsenal are going to beat Forest, in my opinion. Although Forest might have a new manager bounce, you never know. That might occur, of course, guys. But yeah, Guys, let me know if my stream's okay, guys. I am fixing my laptop. I am getting a new laptop soon. So, you know what? Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right on the night, guys, hopefully. When I get my new laptop sorted out, guys. Absolutely. When I get my new laptop sorted out. The one thing is, though, whether we like this or we like that, one thing I say is that football's a beautiful thing, man. Football's a beautiful thing. It's great to have football. It's great to have football. Imagine we didn't have football, guys. Imagine that. Ellen, I don't really watch La Liga, only if there's no other football. The only time I watch La Liga, Ellen, is the El Clasico. That's it. And even that when it's more hyped than the actual game. You know, the build up to the game, it's more hyped. And actually, come on, Retro. I hope so, man. I hope Forest do the business. I hope they do the business. So Arsenal need to lose. They need to lose that game. That would be 2 in a row for Arsenal have lost if they lose that game, of course. So hopefully. Sal, what is your best 11 of United team in the Premier League era? My best 11 in the United era is very difficult to say, mate. Peter Schmeichel in goal. Dennis Irwin as a left back. Gary Neville as a right back. Nemanja Vidic and Jaap Stam as centre backs for me. In the midfield, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes. Left midfield, Ryan Giggs. Although Roy Keane and Brian Robson is a very difficult one for me to say. It's not just straight off the cuff for Brian Robson, but Brian Robson's a magnificent player. I would play a 4-4-2, so I'll play David Beckham on the right, Cristiano Ronaldo up front, with probably Wayne Rooney. If it's a 4-3-3, it would be Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, and I would say probably Ruud van Nistelrooy, someone like that. Andy Cole's a big shout as well. He gets highly underrated in regards to these games, you know. And, no Ferdinand for me, Ellen, no. I don't think he's our best defender. I think Stam and Vidic were better. That's it. I think Ferdinand gets a lot of props, a lot of hype. He's a fantastic player, but he was nowhere near Stam and Vidic, in my opinion. And the thing is that obviously Ferdinand's got the PR. That's what it is. Did you know, guys, that Nemanja Vidic won Player of the Season twice from defense? Twice. Player of the Year. Twice. As a defender. People forget how good Nemanja Vidic was. Yeah, Gray, I would put Cantona, definitely, but Cantona didn't play long enough. In regards to the influence, in regards to his game changing, it was Cantona, of course. But when I'm thinking about if I wanted a team out there, I would say that goal scoring wise, if it's an entertaining team, Cantona will be there all day long. But I can't pick 15 players. Unfortunately, I can't pick 15 players. You know, Ole on the bench, definitely, Ellen all day long. Absolutely, big up Grayo, by the way. Retro, Michael, Owen, Vidic, Stam, Evra, Beckham, Scholes. You put Evra ahead of Owen. Wow. Beckham, Scholes, King, Giggs, Cantona, and Rooney. Not bad. As we say there, Retro. It's very hard to pick a Manchester United 11 from all time. If we go way back, we can argue George Best, Bobby Charlton, Duncan Edwards. We can argue these players as well, you know. We can argue a number of players that have played in Man United over the years that we're not even mentioning here. Like, guys, people are not mentioning Brian Robson. Brian Robson, for me, when Brian Robson was there, he was probably the best captain that we ever had, you know, and people don't really mention Brian Robson like that, you know. Absolutely, guys. Sesko, not yet. Looks like it's going to hell. Big up Ellen. Sal, Stam is the beast. He can defend. He can play ball. Stam is a beast. Vidic is a beast. I would have loved to see Stam and Vidic in defense. I just feel like Rio Ferdinand was more of a kind of PR guy, to be honest with you. Not seen Stam before. I watched his highlights. Remind me of Vidic. Was better. It was amazing. Unfortunately, the things that happened with Stam in regards to Alex Ferguson and the book obviously ruined his legacy a little bit in regards to Man United. But when I was watching Jaap Stam play for Man United, this guy was an absolute animal. I think one of the main things that stood out in my head was when we played Inter Milan in the quarterfinal of the Champions League in 1998, 1999. And I think even Zamorano, who is the striker for Inter Milan, he backed into Jaap Stam. And Jaap Stam just looked down on him like this, right? And he just hit him with his shoulder like that and hit him again. You know, it's like, you don't mess with me. And Zamorano was like this. And this was a fabulous Inter Milan team with R9, obviously. Zanetti, of course, Zamorano, of course, in that team. Simeone in that team as well. That was a fantastic team. And, I thought Stan was just an absolute animal. They don't make him like that anymore, in my opinion, I really like Ashley Young. All right, mate. He was all right. Owen on right back, better than Gary Neville, Mark Hughes. Owen can play right back, but he wasn't made famous at right back at Man United. He was made famous for being a left back at Man United. Gary Neville played right back. Gary Neville was extremely underrated, mate. Very underrated. And I think because he weren't fashionable, people think it's okay. People also discount Paul Parker. Paul Parker was also a very good player, of course, in his time. Obviously, I felt Paul Parker was a little bit short in regards to that. But Paul Parker was also a very good player. And we can't discount Paul Parker as well. Owen left back, Gary Neville right back. Gary Neville won a treble. Gary Neville won it all. And he was a captain of Man United as well for a while. Ellen. Agree, Stan was a monster. He took no prisoners, but his time was short. His time was short, and I felt that was a little bit harsh. When we're looking at Alex Ferguson in his time, Alex Ferguson didn't hold any prisoners, did he? When it come to any mistakes he made, I thought he threw the book at him a little bit too soon. I think, in my opinion, he threw the book at him. In my opinion, But when I look at Man United, okay, and I'm going to say it like this, right? Eric Cantona got Man United to a level, right? We needed that final je ne sais quoi. I say it in French, right? The je ne sais quoi in regards to Cantona when he came to the football team. And the only time I've ever cried, guys, I admit it, the only time I've ever cried when a player left Man United was Eric Cantona. He was the only one who I ever cried, guys. Sal, how good Gary Pallister? Very good. Had back problems, though. Ephraim had a number of back problems. If I was going to bring Gary Pallister in, my good memories about Gary Pallister, 2 goals at Anfield, 2 headers, winning at Anfield, I would say. Gary Pallister was a good player, very underrated. I actually was there for one of his England cap, his only England cap, I think it was. But, guys, we're also discounting the great Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce once scored 16 goals for Manchester United from defence in one season. Steve Bruce once scored, I repeat it, once scored 16 goals from defence in one season. Absolutely. 2005 crazy team. It was a bad team. We didn't win the league. It was an up-and-coming team. It was a team that was developing, from 2003, 2004, 2005. It's a team that was starting to get together. But when we were around in 2005, obviously, we still had David Bellion in that team and stuff. We were building into a team and stuff like that, of course. Absolutely. Darren, I feel Alan Smith was maybe not a United top 11, but he was hard and tough and doesn't get mentioned. He's not a great. That's why, Darren, he's not a Man United great. He was a Man United player who played for Man United. He's not a great for Man United. He's a player that put in a shift, and that's it. We're talking about greats here. Greats of Man United. Not Alan Smith is nowhere near great. And when you're thinking about greats of Man United, you got to think about the legends, you know what I mean? Because we come from such an array of superstars. And I'm not even mentioning players that contributed highly in regards to our history, in regards to Lee Sharp, who was very instrumental, Paul Ince, who was very instrumental in our development, of course, guys. You can look at a number of players who played for Man United over the years. Andrei Kanchelskis, who played for Man United. And, these players who played a pivotal role in our most successful years. I remember that Mark Hughes volley at Main Road in 89, my favourite goal for years. That was a brilliant player. We lost 1-5, 5-1. Yeah, that was it. I was practicing volleyball. I remember the blue net, Retro 7-7. I just remember the blue net. I remember the blue net, and I remember him scoring a goal at Main Road, and the 5-1, we got defeated 5-1. Guys, we did get our revenge a couple of years later, however, 5 years later, really, 5 years later. At Old Trafford, we beat them 5-0, didn't we? Eric Cantona scored, Konchelski scored a hat-trick. Those were the days, guys. Ferguson admitted he shouldn't have got rid of Stam. He shouldn't have done. But one thing I would say, Ellen, that is one of the transfers that I regret as a Man United fan, that I feel like, that could have been better. I look at Beckham. I felt that Beckham was a little bit harshly treated in regards to that. But when I look back now, and I look at things from above, and I think, well, if we kept Beckham, we might have not got Cristiano Ronaldo, or, you feel like that. You start thinking like that, innit? And we might have not got him, and everything happened for a reason. when Alex Ferguson was the manager, I just, after the treble winning season, I just held my hands up and said, you know what? Alex Ferguson's a genius. And that's it. He's a genius. And that's all I said. You know, I just thought, I'm not going to argue this guy anymore. After he won it, we can't win in the Fit with Kids team. I just said, this guy, I'm never going to argue him again. I'm never going to doubt him again. However, when it got later in his career, I did think he was a little bit naive in Europe. And unfortunately, I thought we should have had more European Cups. And that's the stick that they're always going to beat him with. Unfortunately, during the 90s, Man United couldn't play their best team in Europe. Obviously, there was the foreign rule. You can only play a certain amount of foreigners. And that includes Ireland. And that includes, obviously, European countries as well. So Man United had a choice what to do. What do we do? But then I look at that and I think about what we did in regards to the players that we couldn't play during the European Cup, the Champions League. Then I think if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have got the likes of Paul Scholes and David Beckham, much needed experience in the Champions League. And even though we lost 4-0 at the Nou Camp, we lost to IFK Gothenburg 3-1. We got knocked out by Galatasaray. We were bad. You know what I mean? We were getting knocked out. But one thing you learned is that we had to play young players, right? And I think there was a game against Galatasaray, I think about 1994, where David Beckham scored and we won 4-0. And I think that there started to give us a little bit of, oh, these players are not that bad. These players are not bad. You know? Man United, this is what couldn't win, honestly. Couldn't win the Champions League, obviously, because of the restrictions of European football back then, of course. Our 293 double team and 93-94, all legends in my mind. Yes. Let me tell you something retro. When you think about the 92-93 team, right? And you think about the 93-94 team, obviously I had Roy Keane, and not much difference. But when you think about them, what's the common demeanor here? What's the common narrative here in regards to those two teams? We can name them. Peter Schmeichel, Paul Parker, Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Dennis Irwin, Roy Keane, Brian, was not Roy Keane in the first one, wasn't it? It was Brian Robson in that midfield. You know, we had Andre Kanchelskis, Ryan Giggs, Mark Hughes, Eric Cantona, you know? And when you think about that, right, and you think about the teams, you can name them off the cuff. You can just name the 92, 93, 93, 94, 94, 95, 95, 96 team like this. Nowadays, you can't even name the team. It's difficult to put a team out and you're like, are we going to play this player? Are we going to play that player? What are we going to do? We're going to play that player, you know? LT, the main reason why the presser was calm was because we won our last game, absolutely, and they didn't have negatives to fall back on. They're just hoping we lose so they're to pound. Yeah, that's true. Very true, LT. Absolutely. Big up, LT, my friend. Hello, guy. You doing MUC Forever? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Can I be a mod? Of course you can, mate. Of course you can. I will get that sorted out for you, mate. Very, very soon, mate. Obviously, let me see. I'll do it for you, mate. I'll do it in the actual thing for you. Let me just write that down. I'll make you a mod. I'll make you a mod, bro. Big up MUFC Forever now. MUFC Forever. There we go. Yeah, I'll do that for you, brother. I'll do it after the stream, mate. Don't worry about that. How good was Dwight York? Very good, RJ. I'm not gonna be like one of those guys who are gonna lie. But when we signed Dwight York, I was a little bit underwhelmed when we signed him. £12 million, I think it was 11.9 or something like that. I was like, Aston Villa player, because obviously this is where I stopped questioning Alex Ferguson, because Sir Alex Ferguson was a genius. And he brought in Dwight York, and many people were saying, oh, we should have signed Kluivert, we should have signed Batistuta, we signed Ortega, people were saying back then. And he got Dwight York, and the rest is history. I would never swap it for the world. I would never swap anything we did, anything during those times for the world, in my opinion. Absolutely not. Thank you so much, Ellen. Big up yourself. Thank you, bro. Really nice to see you as usual every day. Yeah, he wasn't just loved his shift he put in. I mean, Darren, one thing about Manchester United is that we used to have it a lot is players who put in a shift, and it should be a given at Man United. You should always put in a shift. That's the first thing. It's like you shouldn't even mention it. You shouldn't even mention a shift. I remember when I was standing on the Stretford end, right? And I sat hundreds of games on the Stretford end. And that's why I'm called Stretford Post, by the way. I remember the likes of, let's say, for example, Patrice Evra. I remember Patrice Evra vomiting on the pitch. The shifts he put in. I remember that in front of me. I was front row. You know what I mean? I remember it. And this is the effort that these players used to put in for the club, for the badge. These days, I just don't think it's the same. Absolutely. We should have signed Chiellini back then. He's a good player, but we had better. Fergie was a genius in the managing players. Yeah, he was versatile. What Alex Ferguson had, he had the ability to read players. So you know that some players want to arm around them. Some players need a rollicking. Some players ignore them. You know, I mean, it's very famous what happened when there was that Eric Cantona karate kick, as we remember. You know, he blamed the players. He didn't even look at Cantona. He didn't even say nothing about Cantona. He just went, Cantona, you should never do that, mate. You can't go around doing that. And then he went straight on to the next player. And he knew how to handle certain things. He knew to handle certain players. And that's what was good about him, you know. Smith could have been, but the injury destroyed him. I don't think he would have been a Man United legend, Darren. No. I think you're talking about, you know, something too recent. No way. Smith was decent, but a legendary status, no, he didn't have it, mate. He was a decent player putting a shift, but compared to Man United legends, Darren, you sound like a guy who hasn't witnessed it, mate. Alan Smith was nowhere near a Man United legend, and he wouldn't have been a Man United legend. He would be a Man United, a good Man United player. That was solid. That's it. You're talking to someone late 80s, mate, watching this football club. You know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of great players who I haven't even mentioned today. I can mention Dion Dublin. I can mention many players he played for. I haven't even mentioned Mark Hughes, you know, who won us trophies. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes single-handedly, some may say. Do you know what I mean? We can mention that. Rod Wallace and you know, I mean, there's so many players that I can mention, guys, you know, who I haven't mentioned, you know, who played their part in our success. Alan Smith came at a time when Man United was successful. So, you know, and I just don't think he was quite there. He wouldn't have been a legend. I don't think that, no. I was shocked when Beckham left, but I didn't hear about everything that happened here in Norway. No internet back then. Yeah, I mean, when I used to watch Man United and when I used to find out the news, Ellen, with the old, you know, the hotline. Man United used to have a hotline and they used to call it, or I used to just read the papers and stuff like that. It's the same in England. It's no different to in Norway, of course, guys, obviously. Of course, Ellen, because, you know, what I would say is that they weren't broadcasting Man United all the time. We had Sky, but before we only had 4 channels on TV, you know, to find out anything. And if we wanted to find out any news about Man United, we would either have to wait for the paper in the morning, or we have to watch the news, you know, at 6 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something like that. It was a bit like that. So until Sky came around, Sky started to do more in-depth of analysis of football. And then obviously we had the hotlines, and I ran up these big high bills on the hotline, by the way. I never forget when I was waiting for the Karol Poborski signing. I remember after Euro 96, I got really excited about the Karol Poborski signing, and I would pick up the phone and I'll be like, what's going on with Karol Poborski? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. It was tough back then, guys. And then obviously we got the internet and I started doing the forums, and I was banned from the forum 3 times. I was banned from the forum and arguing, even when we were successful, guys, arguing. Can we give Sesko the number 9 next season? Probably. You never know. Big up, Benny. What's going on, my friend? The common demeanor was they were winners. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Paul Scholes had cannonballs. Absolutely, he did. And Paul Scholes, one of the greatest midfielders of all time. I'll argue that with anyone. As I said, like if someone turned around to me right now and said, Sal, who would you want back at Man United at their prime, right? At their prime. And I was thinking about it, right? And I was like, Paul Scholes. Because Scholes can dictate the game. Scholes could control a game himself. And I was thinking about Paul Scholes. There was Roy Keane and there was Paul Scholes. Right? And I was thinking, Paul Scholes, because Paul Scholes can get forward, he can control the game and this and that. You know, it's just a mark of how many great players we had back then. Benny. They had each other accountable like proper winners do. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that is one of the common things. That's one of the common things. What a time to be alive it was. It was brilliant, Ellen. And one thing I did say about it is that I never took it like, you know, I never reveled in it. I was too humble. I would say, Ellen, that I was too humble. And I never really I wouldn't say appreciated it because I did. But what I would say is that I never enjoyed it as much as I should have enjoyed it. I mean, I was at the treble. I went to the new camp. I enjoyed it. I slept on the beach. I mean, I was broke 16-year-old at the new camp by myself, guys. And when you think about it, you know, I still, back then, that is when it hit me, right? After the final, I went to I clubbed all night. I didn't have a hotel. So I went to the beach and I sat there and I went, there was a guy there, Man United fan. And I said to him, you know, we never probably see something like this happen again. And he was like, to me, he was like, listen, look, it's going to happen again. Man United are too good. This, that. And I thought, you know what, this may never, you know what, this is the way, everything went our way this season, mate. Everything went our way this season. Everything, you know, from the late goals, everything, the penalty save, you know, the great goals, you know, and I just felt like, you know, with the treble winning season, and it was like everything just connected to each other. And one little slight change would have changed the whole dynamic. I even think about, you know, we lost to Tottenham in the League Cup, you know, and things like that. We could have won a quadruple. I even think that is probably a good thing because it might have disrupted what was. You know what I mean? If we were going for the quadruple, you know, but it was a great time. Yeah. Retro. Cristiano Ronaldo was a left winger at Man United. Yep. More of a winger at Man United. Sorry. You know. Yep. I play him as a winger. Our striker department since McClare and Hughes are pretty stuck. Sheringham, Schultzka, Cole. Yeah, we are stacked. But Ronaldo went on to score a lot of goals. That's what I'm talking about. He scored 40 goals for Man United in one season, mate. You know, from that position, I would play a 4-3-3 and he'd be up there, and definitely. And I think that he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He was our only Ballon d'Or winner in many, many years, of course. In regards to, obviously, I believe George Best won the, I think I'm not George Best won the Ballon d'Or, I'm not sure. But yeah, we had so many players, Retro, that we can't single it out. It's very difficult to pick a team. I could pick 5 right now for you. Teams that, you know, Man United could pick in regards to the greatest of all time. And Cristiano Ronaldo was the greatest player in Premier League history, in my opinion. The greatest player in Premier League history was Cristiano Ronaldo. I would argue that with anyone. And if people want to sugarcoat that, oh, he weren't at his best at Man United, mate, he played in the wing and he scored bloody 40 goals, mate. On the wing. On the wing. Forget your Thierry Henrys. Forget that. Thierry Henry, by the way, cost Arsenal a Champions League win. Not 2006, by the way. Missed loads of chances. You know, Ronaldo was a GOAT. And that's it. And he is the GOAT. Why is Højlund get so bad? I don't think he's bad. He scored 5 goals the other day. I don't think he's bad at all. Hopefully he's goodness me. Rasmus Højlund. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant Haaland. Sorry, my eyesight's going. Rasmus Højlund is that bad. You know, you have to look at the circumstances, RJ. Look at his circumstances. He came into a team that was, you know, on its knees, basically. It was a toxic environment, and we expected a lot from him. We expected him to be the only guy to score goals for us. Sal, the great signing was Sheringham. Alex Ferguson was a genius, Graham. And let's be honest, Graham, back then, right? Let's be honest. We were like 30-year-old Sheringham. And I remember it because I went to a game, Tottenham United, right? And Sheringham missed a penalty. And I remember it, and against his old club, funny enough. And but what Alex Ferguson did, he knew how to get the same sort of, how would I say it? Like you have Cantona and you replace like the Sheringham and Cantona, you know, and Sheringham would come into Cantona, Dwight York would come into where Sheringham was, and things like that. And it was sort of like that, wasn't it? Berbatov would come in there where Sheringham was. Rooney would come in there where Sheringham was. And it was always that sort of false number 9 sort of thing that happened, of course. But one thing that was great, which Alex Ferguson did so well, is that he brought players in that, you know, were different. You know, you think about it. Solskjaer was different. Cole, different. York, different. You know, Sheringham, different. All different players. But everything these players had, the overriding similarity that all these players had was intelligence. I think Cantona said it once about intelligent running, you know, and Sheringham used to be an intelligent runner, highly underrated. He was very good. Really liked him. Carlos Tevez, when he didn't offer him a deal but another loan, I was fuming. So I don't hold a grudge for once. The only player that sift through loved Tevez in red. Rooney said that Tevez was his favorite player to play alongside, and unfortunately, what happened with Tevez should not have happened because we sold him to Man City for 20 million. An absolute And I think about it now, it makes me so mad because when we had Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney, right, it was the best front line in Europe. And I feel like if we had Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney staying together for a little bit longer, we would have dominated football and probably won a couple of more Champions Leagues. I just feel like, we have to look at things, in a fair way in regards to what Alex Ferguson did to Tevez. What Tevez did afterwards was unacceptable, I know. But what we need to say is that Tevez, when he was at Man United, I was so confident Man United were going to win because, you had the grit of Tevez, you had the world-class ability of Ronaldo, and you had Rooney. That could fear anyone, any team, Man United have also tried to sign the likes of Samir Nasri over the years, and the famous one was when Samir Nasri of Arsenal at the time, Patrice Evra persuaded Samir Nasri to come to Manchester United, and Samir Nasri agreed personal terms with Man United. Suddenly, Samir Nasri was changed his mind, as we know, and Patrice Evra was trying to call Samir Nasri, right, and he didn't answer his phone. Eventually, he texts Patrice Evra, and he said that he's signing for City. When Man City had Nasri and Tevez and these sort of players, we really put it in their court. We really gave them an elevation. I think it was a bad sell. If Alex Ferguson, he should have stuck to his word and just gave Tevez his contract. And that's what should have happened because he was an absolutely phenomenal player. Danny Wallace, bad knees, absolutely retro, bad knees, yeah, very bad knees, good player, obviously Leeds as well, but we had a problem back then with injuries, of course. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. Great player. I've forgotten his name, guys. I'll get it back. He had a bad injury and never got quite to the level that he should have been. Cunha and Buemo would be good back in the 80s, mid-80s, when Alex Ferguson first came in, guys. Brilliant. Cunha and Buemo would be good Ferguson players. Maybe. Let them be good Amarin players first, okay? Let them be good Amarin players first. Absolutely. I think he could have been a midfielder. No, I don't think legend. He could have been more recognised. He is recognised, but Darren, he won league with Man United, He did. He came at a time when Man United were evolving, I remember going to the Roma versus Man United 7-1 game, and he had a blinding game. He did play in midfield for a little while, Darren. He did. One his position, though, is quite obviously out of his depth there. You can't shoehorn players into midfield because midfield's different, completely different. Midfield is a skill that you learn young. RJ, Jermaine Defoe should have joined us after Tevez left. Maybe. We had a decent team. We still have Berbatov and teams that are a better player than Jermaine Defoe. I was banned from the forum once too. I was 3 times, Tyborg. Look, you know what? Even at the time, because it was at the time about 2004, 2005, when we were losing the league. I think we came 3rd or 4th or 5th or something like 3rd or 4th it was. And even then we were like, oh, Man United, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I was arguing on the forums, and we're never happy. I was banned a few times. I nearly got my season ticket removed, but it was good times. Absolutely. You had such high hopes for Jordi Cruyff. Me too, Retro, especially after the Euro 96, after we signed him. After Euro 96, he scored a goal against Everton. I know Jordi Cruyff, by the way. I talked to him on Instagram. I would like to get him on the show, but he's very busy. But I might get him on the show one time. Jordi Cruyff, what we have to understand about Man United back then, Man United had so many good players. Man United were just such stacked with good players. But Jordi Cruyff obviously was burdened by his father, and his father was such a great player that, he's a little bit pressure on him. But I remember him playing against Everton and we drew 2-2. And I remember him scoring this blinding header, this brilliant header. And, and I had high hopes for him. It just didn't materialize. Sometimes it just doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And sadly, that's the way it is sometimes. But we've had some great players that have not worked out at Man United. You think of Juan Sebastian Veron. If Juan Sebastian Veron, guys, and let me tell you right now, if Juan Sebastian Veron was at Man United right now, he'd be our best player. He'd be our best player. But back then, they had Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham. There was too much pressure, too much competition in that team. And that's what it was. That's why the likes of Veron didn't succeed how they should have done. But if he was at Man United now, he'd be the best player. He was an absolute baller, guys. An absolute baller, in my opinion. Sal, Ephraim, Sal, Paul Scholes is underrated. He can dictate a game. He can shoot. I mean, not underrated. Definitely not to Man United. Not to Zidane and people like that. Zidane said he's the best player in the world, didn't he? Not underrated for me. He's one of the greatest midfielders I've ever seen. Definitely. I've got a lot up there. Roy Keane, Brian Robson for me. One of the best midfielders I've ever seen. I mean, I liken Paul Scholes to the likes of Zinedine Zidane and players like that. He was an absolute amazing player. Definitely not underrated for us. Definitely not. Ellen, I enjoyed it. My boyfriend at the time was Arsenal. My God. It was a great feeling every time we crushed Arsenal. It was fun, Ellen. What I would say about playing Arsenal back then, it was fun. Man City, we didn't even think about Man City. Man City, who's that? Arsenal. Look, when we were winning the treble, you know what Man City were? They were in the champion. I think it was the League One playoff final. So what I would say is that, Arsenal, we used to crush them all the time. I actually used to feel sorry for Arsenal sometimes because they were very good, but they just weren't as good as us. And that was it, and they were very good and they had their odd good season, but they just weren't as good as us, guys. Sadly for them, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? I love Paul Scholes, absolute brilliant maestro. He was brilliant, why do people compare Scholes and Gerrard? Because Gerrard is a Liverpool player and Liverpool get preferable treatment in the media. Don't get me wrong. Gerrard was a great player, right? A world-class player, but it was no Paul Scholes. It was no Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes, how many titles did Paul Scholes win? 11? You cannot compare Paul Scholes with Gerrard. This is what annoys me the most. Frank Lampard as well, penalty merchant, You can't compare them with Paul Scholes. Maybe if England did this, right? Maybe if England played Paul Scholes and played Carrick in the team as well, England might have actually won something, rather than trying to squeeze players that, are the media favourites into the team. And I'm not taking anything away from Lamps and Gerrard. I'm not, but they were not Paul Scholes. They're not. Ask any player in the world. Ask Iniesta who he modelled his game after. Ask Zidane. Retro. Yordi heads to assist first day because Blackburn, I remember that, didn't he? From Cantona, Ole set out the rebound. 2-2. Yeah. Guys, listen, Stretford Post, mate. Stretford Post. Look, you know what? This isn't any other of those content. Retro, I would urge you, bruv. I would urge you, mate. I would urge you to go to any other content creator, talk about that game, right? And they would have no clue what you're talking about. They would have no clue what they're talking about. 2-2. I remember it. On the right-hand side, Solskjaer got the ball 2 times. He got it in. He got it in the second attempt. Absolutely. Everyone was like, I thought we were going to lose that game. We got back in it a couple of times. And everyone was like, who's this guy? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. People like that, And what a legend. What a legend. And that is the genius that Alex Ferguson was, wasn't it? They said that Paul Scholes is the best English player. He is. England is the only country that doesn't recognise Paul Scholes as the best English midfielder of a generation. Absolutely. He may be 12, Daryl. Yeah, I think it's 12. Absolutely. Guys, I wish I have your memory, Sal. I also witnessed a lot, not as much as you, obviously, but I can remember much. I just know that every single Fergie team was a joy to watch. It was a joy, mate. It was one of the blessings in life, Tyborg. It was one of the most beautiful things that we had at the time. And I wasn't raised in a rich family. I had poverty. I was poor. And I raised in a 1-bedroom flat, 5 of us, and I had Man United. You know, I had Man United, and I still managed to get, support Man United, and I still managed to find a way to watch Man United. Even if it was on the radio, I was like this, trying to get the radio frequency and things like that, trying to watch Man United. And it was just such, because even when you listen to Man United on the radio, I don't know if anyone remembers Radio 59 and Mr. Pierce and people like that, and I remember that every single time it's, Man United, blah, 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 blah. It's like Man United are really attacking all the time. We were attacking. Oh, Man United on attack again. This is Andy Cole, back to Solskjaer, back to Sheringham, back to Andy Cole, back to Solskjaer. It was like that. It was like that non-stop, and it was like this. You're at the edge of your seat like this. When I didn't go to games, of course, guys. Sanjay's 25 likes, guys. Please don't forget, we need to get up to, guys. Come on, let's get up to 30 likes. Let's get up to 30 likes, guys. Come on, guys. It's the bare minimum. 50 should be the bare minimum, but we are here, guys, at the end of the day. We hardly heard from Ole here in Norway back then, but he was really proud of him. Yeah, you should be. You should be proud. Norway should be very proud of what you did, especially for Manchester United. Norway has a historical heritage when it comes to Manchester United. Henningberg, Ronnie Johnsen. Let's not count out Henningberg and Ronnie Johnsen, Ellen. Ronnie Johnsen, you can move Ronnie Johnsen into midfield. You can move Ronnie Johnsen to right back, centre back, left back. Ronnie Johnsen would do a job for you. And then you've got Henningberg who played his part. Legends. Honestly. And I will never forget that. Never. Honestly. When you think about back them days when it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ronnie Johnsen and Henningberg, and we had this great Scandinavian input, didn't we? Obviously with Schmeichel in there as well. And I think Man United have gone away from that a little bit. I do think Man United need to sign more Scandinavian players. This is why I was a big fan of Naipan, of course, and these players. Daryl, yeah, bro, had to tune in every time, bro. Memories, thank you so much, Daryl. Really appreciate it, man. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, Radio 5 Live 96 or 101, man. I remember I was at, I had the radio on in Spain, after the treble, right? And when I was at in Barcelona, and I remember just listening to it back and listening to it back. I had a little radio on me, and I was listening to it back. And it was such an emotional time. I remember it because I remember this time, right? I remember when they said on Radio 5 Live after the treble, they said, I remember it to this day. They said, if anyone wants to call into the show and wants to be negative about Man United, we're going to put the phone down straight away. And there was a Tottenham fan. He put the phone. He goes, I just think Man United are the most fluky team in the world. And he went down on the put down. Absolutely, guys. What times? Cristiano Ronaldo, best player in football history. It's hard to say. I would say he's up there. It's hard to say. I would say, yeah. I watched Maradona. I've seen Maradona. I've seen George Best. I haven't luckily seen him live, unfortunately, but George Best needs a shout out, definitely. I think about Duncan Edwards. I think about, obviously, Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law. I have an affiliation and an affection for every player that played for Man United, and every single player played their part. And just because they didn't get the most goals, it didn't mean that they weren't up there, and that's what I would say about that, Tyborg, on the radios, I used to leave birthday parties and weddings to listen to United, mate. You're like me, Tyborg. When you were at a wedding or you were at a family gathering or something like that, Tyborg, you remember? And you knew Man United were playing, right? You knew Man United were playing, and you were like this, and you were like, Man United are kicking off now. Oh, it's 1 minute gone. The game's 1 minute old. I wonder what the score is. So you'll creep out and you'll try and find out the score, and I'll be telling, because back then it wasn't easy to find out the score. We didn't have iPhones. We didn't have anything like that. It wasn't easy just to click your fingers and find out what the score is back then. That came about 2002 when we had the black and white phones, but you can find the score and stuff. And always like, oh man, I need to know what's going on with Man United. I need to go. That was Man United. Absolutely. Absolutely. You give me goosebumps, bro, just thinking of the best pastime. I do this. I could talk for hours, Daryl. If we were here together in a room, I'll be talking for hours, mate. I'll be talking, me and you, every one of us, community. we would be talking for hours about Man United, and so many things I've seen and witnessed. And yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. One day we do that. If we win the league again, we do a link up and we go to Old Trafford and see a game. Definitely, guys. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a great chat. Thank you so much, everyone. Please don't forget to smash a like, guys. Let's get to 30 likes. And don't forget to put your notifications on as well. I'm live tomorrow back for Breaking Dawn, guys. Don't forget to join me for that. Well, this was the match preview. Obviously, we went down memory lane there. But that's my team there anyway. Hopefully, it's something along those lines anyway, guys. But I want to thank everyone again. And I will see you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Take it easy, guys. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Take it easy. Peace.